Hey guys, I just wanted to do my review of Agents and my reaction to Agents of Shield, Season 5, Episode 15, Rise and Shine. So the last episode, we've had the threat of the fear dimension, destroying the world, and because of people's force fields manifesting themselves because of the rift in the lighthouse to that dimension, we had the return of Fitz's alter ego, the Doctor, the ruler of Hydra and the Framework, and driving Fitz to, and we had him, taking control of a robot controlled by General Hale to attack Mac, and also to capture Daisy and forcibly strap her down and give her little to no anesthesia and do an invasive operation to remove her power inhibitor so that she could use the gravitonium to put in a device to close the rift. And Fitz was trying to stop him from doing that, but then you realize that the Doctor returning wasn't a manifestation of the fear dimension. It was just basically Fitz having a psychotic break and basically hallucinating his framework alter ego, and he was like driving a lot of his actions throughout this episode to the point where it was Fitz that was ultimately the Fitz we know and love, who was ultimately responsible for what he did throughout the events of that episode, to the point where he alienated Mac, and Daisy even said herself that she would never forgive him for what he did. We had Simmons and Deke, who the former, who was breaking down over what Fitz was doing, that she was wondering if they could ever come back from this, and Deke was revealing to her that he was her grandson, as reassurance that the relationship would recover. And then you had Coulson, who the team tried to capture General Hale and interrogate her for information, but then they made it pretty obvious. They threw out clues that it was obvious that she wanted to be kidnapped, she wanted to be captured, and her, along with Creel, were eventually found by Anton Ivanov, the LMD version, and Creel and Ivanov were all working under Hale, and part of her and Coulson was coerced into going with her in exchange for the lives of his team members being spared, which he agreed to. There were previews at the end of that episode, the end of last week, about S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra uniting against a common threat. So we'll find out what that common threat is and learn more about it. Is this a young General Hale? It's a young General Hale.
Excited to be done with these lectures. Can't stand another one of these old dudes droning on about placement.
Well, at least today's guest speaker's cool.
That's Jasper
Now
Sitwell.
I heard that he wants to use alien DNA to actually reverse the body's aging process. Oh, shut up, Sitwell. You're just jealous.
Of you being...
Called it.
We would blow our cover.
Well, I suppose you have a better substance in mind.
We're not going to find it by digging up our history. Instead, we should look to where the Tesseract came from to find new materials.
Meaning?
Outer space.
Finally! Some forward thinking.
Into a fight?
In a sense, yes. We're actually impressed by your strength, your mettle. We think that you will be essential in engineering the perfect human specimen for the chamber.
Sir, I'm not a biologist.
Correct. But you're the only candidate left with the other necessary qualifications.
Wow.
You want me to be...
Artificially inseminated. It's quite exciting, yes? You should be honored. You will give birth to our new leader. As I said, we see the future of Hydra in you.
What about my future?
As requested, you'll be placed deep undercover within the Air Force. Perhaps you'll even become an astronaut. However, once the seed has been perfected, we expect you'll serve the cause.
Sir, I'm flattered. But is there an option where I utilize my talents elsewhere?
You always have a choice whether or not to comply.
It's an alliance of several races. They call themselves the Confederacy.
Well, why the hell wasn't I brought in on this?
General, I'm gonna need you to come with me. Come on, Hale. Step away. This is for your own safety.
Eliminate your weakness.
Wake up! Me obeying you? That is weakness. You, with your blind faith, with this stupid tradition, that's weakness.
No! It is a rite of passage to a life built on control and survival. That's why when you cut off the head, two more spring up.
To be honest, I have no idea.
Is that what
They use it to
for
move
the
ships through the galaxies.
Tesseract?
Galaxies. You're suggesting...
Just let me explain.
Okay, different device.
After New York, my predecessors made contact. It's only a matter of time before it reaches us.
This one's nuttier than a Butterfinger. Reaches us what? War? Why didn't this make it up through the chain of command? How come it didn't get to me?
It's not Air Force, Glenn.
Then how did you get the project?
It wasn't Daisy. I know you think I've lost my onions, but I've got a feeling it was one of Anton Ivanov's tin cans. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. That wasn't LMD, but it was created by S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was used on you. Don't you see these symbols are irrelevant? We are humans fighting for our survival. He considers himself humanity's shield, one of Earth's mightiest heroes.
Oh yeah.
Her words, not mine.
Okay, I can see the callback.
He's
there.
that ally that we need. I'm hoping that you can show him the wisdom of helping the Confederacy.
Very well. Your world will soon become a battleground. We will ensure humanity's survival.
For a price?
Much smaller than you will pay if this comes to Earth.
Oh, Infinity War Clips, Infinity. What? That does not look like Thanos' ship from Ragnarok.
It's designed to create the most powerful man.
Like Captain America.
Better than that. Personally, I'd like to see the most powerful human not be a man.
If the idea is to put your ninja daughter into that chamber, this is going to be a long conversation. Cap was selected for his heart, not cutting off hands.
Ruby is a perfect fit. Her physical biometrics were optimized for particle infusion.
I'm sensing a butt.
She's not ready. Deliver it.
By infusing her with gravitonium?
Yes, she would have the power to level alien armies, blow their ships apart. She would be worthy of Whitehall's code name for the project. Destroyer of Worlds. Obviously, the guy was overcompensating for something, but...
No, stop. This is a huge mistake. A broken planet-sized mistake. Listen, my team wasn't hiding all these months. We traveled to the future. We saw the aftermath of that program.
You traveled to the future.
And back. I saw the Earth cracked apart, but not because of the Confederacy or that alien ship.
It was because of my actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Call off the search. Do not let anyone enter that chamber.
Let me ask you something. In this fever dream of yours, are you the big, strong man who's saving me from my mistakes?
It's more complicated than that.
I'm sure it is. I can't tell if you're delusional or playing games with me. This is very disappointing.
Aliens!
I thought you, of all people, could see the bigger picture.
So let's hold it together.
We had to seal the rift shut.
By any means, no matter how sadistic.
Okay, well, would you have agreed to do it?
Never.
Well, then I didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice? You drugged me. You restrained me, and you cut into me.
I don't feel good about it either, but in a few hours, the town up there would have been affected as well, so... Manage. I saluted the same flag as those people.
Yeah, but we don't turn on our own here.
Do you want me to recount all the times that you did?
She did it like once.
We'll figure out another way to track Hill down. We've done it before.
You want to bring Robin out of hiding and risk her getting hurt? Daisy.
Our leader is missing. We have to get him back. We need every weapon we can get in this fight.
Okay, so it's cool that we got some of General Hill's backstory, and now we understand like why she says she's not Hydra, even though she's kind of affiliated with Hydra, was because, yeah, she was affiliated with Hydra. Is that even among their ranks they treated her like crap. She was just kind of like, she was just there to produce like a, she was just there to like, conceive the ultimate weapon instead of, being respected for her skills and cunningness. And I just never got like and it created like a huge plot hole as to, or just kind of something that I don't know why I never really thought about this, but considering, Whitehall has been like the longest living member of Hydra since, Zola uploaded his mind into that computer, and then, Red Skull went missing in action. Like, why didn't he become the new leader of Hydra? Why was it like some kind of kid who... Why was Von Strucker the one who became the leader of Hydra? And the whole like beating up and basically just beating up Von Strucker because of just basically the constant sexism she had to deal with is what led to her just I guess it probably was not going to make a difference in why that Whitehall only saw her as someone who can perceive the ultimate superhuman. It was nice that we got to see like how her role in the whole Hydra timeline played out, with her being around when Fisher was apprehended, when Gideon Malik gave up like all the major Hydra locations in season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and when they thought S.H.I.E.L.D. was stomped out, and how she, killed that guy that was, and the whole thing about killing a dog to show that, and not doing it was a sign of weakness, and that was something that John Garrick wanted, or convinced Grant Ward to do back in season 1, like in their flashbacks, in his flashbacks. But I guess it wasn't just some kind of like twisted test that's, carried out. That was the kind of the brainchild of John Garrick. It was just something that was just Hydra tradition and a rite of passage. Again, like all these like nice little callbacks to previous seasons, considering this is maybe the possibly final season of the show. And just understand. I mean, this is one of the things that like frustrates me about watching sci-fi, paranormal, supernatural shows. It's I guess with Dana Scully from the X-Files being the notable exception, is that the constant it's feel like there's all like arbitrary skepticism to this, like when characters are exposed to like enough of this like kooky stuff, is like they had to give them this like arbitrary skepticism like when they're exposed to like some kind of kooky element of this world, where it's like she like talks, she knows about the Battle of New York, about Thor, like as aliens, gods, or just like or I guess like the Asgardians were seen as gods in Norse in that universe, and then we with the Hulk and people in a world of people with superpowers, and then she talks to and she's interacts with like an alien federation, and then it's like she's told about time travel by Coulson and how her program brings about the end of the world, and then it's like she just thinks it's a completely asinine idea and just think it's like, I'm like, you're kidding me, right? I mean, I get that it's just like she doesn't want to be talked down from it just because of like like, oh, you're just like the rest of them, like having to deal with constant sexism, but like really, like you people with superpowers and then like time travel, like too crazy. I mean, her daughter's more. I mean, granted, Ruby's more open minded, but that's just because it's like she's just tired of being treated like crap by her mother and just wants to like overthrow her anyway, and just wants to, and envious of Daisy and wants to, and just kind of power hungry. But I don't know. It's just kind of like an annoying trope, and I just noticed that the fact that Daisy was so pissed at I kind of noticed a change in kind of Fitz's persona, and the fact that it's like he I guess Ian, I should know, is Ian DeCaster. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his last name. I'm sorry for butchering your last name. He performed it in a way where it's like he felt like a lot less like conflicted and guilt ridden, and it's almost like he gave a performance as Fitz in which the Doctor was more integrated into his personality. Like you didn't go like full on Doctor, but it was just kind of more of like I did what I had to, like he's kind of like he's let go of any kind of guilt or shame from what he did, and he has like sense of determination to like do what's necessary, and without just kind of like just guilt free, guilt free, almost kind of like I don't know a better comparison, almost kind of like just almost like Jack Bauer, where it's just like he I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but then at the same time, it's like time is like Daisy is understandably pissed, and I don't blame her for being pissed at Fitz for basically for the whole in drugging her in the invasive operation, and but then this and saying like he had no right to just make that make such a judgment call and just be like using and manipulating people, but then all of a sudden it's like she wants to, but then all of a sudden it's like she wants to go and fetch Robin, and like Maeve points out risk her safety just for the sake of fighting the good fight, and then it's just like we need all the weapons we can get in terms of this fight against Hydra, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're taking on the exact same mentality that you're calling out Fitz for, and so it kind of like evaporates like any sympathy you had towards her from the last episode. And I'm also like the fact that it's like not everybody is and Shields is ready to kind of just like shun Fitz, and I like that May is like the one who's kind of the more like emphatic towards Fitz, considering that they were both in a framework and they were both like manipulated and becoming Hydra agents, and that even if Fitz doesn't have a level of regret towards what he did, at least he at least or at least like, and May does, at least she's like sympathetic, and I kind of like that, and and I guess Mac is more iffy about it, and then there's like the whole thing with Simmons where she gives where she gives Fitz like a more rusted version of the Swiss Army knife from Deke, and realizing it's just like an older version of the old Swiss Army knife of his old president's Swiss Army knife, to realize like, hey, Deke is your grandson, and they jumped on the whole bandwagon saying that hey, guess what? We're in, you know, that Elena believes that she's invincible because of the time loop, so then we're invincible because of the time loop, so we're gonna live out to see this whole future. So does that mean there's like now they don't believe they're gonna prevent the future? It's weird. So I mean, I'm assuming that guy that Coulson and Hale were talking to was. I thought that was supposed to be. I thought that was supposed to be Cassius' father, but now it just seems like he might be a middleman. Again, I'm not sure. They're not like giving us any answers for that, but it'll be interesting to see like how much of whether or not this whole thing is going to connect to Infinity War. I mean, you would think this would be, but I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, the new movie comes out in a few weeks, and some questions will be answered. So, what do you guys think of the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.